And NVIDIA GeForce Now then gives us insight into future Xbox games, and scalping prices have dropped, but not for the Xbox Series X. So several Xbox Game Studio games that have not been announced yet were outed via the NVIDIA GeForce Now database. And this comes via the developer Igor, who in July documented a vulnerability that provided access to a database used for internal testing. And within this database, you could see games that weren't released yet, games that were coming out and potentially going to be using the NVIDIA GeForce Now service. Now, on top of the Xbox Game Studio games that were announced, there are also a bunch of other stuff that come out, but specifically for the Xbox Game Studios, we got some project names, some code names for games that will be coming out or potentially be coming out or haven't been announced yet. And one of those is Gears 6. We know Gears 6 is going to be coming out and they're going to be using Unreal Engine 5, but this was in the database. So, I mean, that's not really a surprise. We haven't heard anything yet about Gears 6. I don't know when we will. I don't know how far out it is, but it was in there. Halo 5 Guardians coming to PC made an appearance on this list, which is very interesting. But after this list came out and everything, it was actually addressed by Brian Gerard, who is the 343 Industries community director. And he says here, we know there's some demand for it, but we've stated before, not in the cards, as the studio is fully focused on Halo Infinite and the Halo Master Chief Collection. We'll never say never, but nothing underway currently. And obviously him referring to Halo 5 coming to PC. It's the last Halo game that has been released before Halo Infinite that is not available on PC, and people have been wanting Halo 5 on PC for a very long time. I don't know why they haven't put it on PC yet, because I think it would just open it up to a lot more people to be able to experience it, especially because the multiplayer in Halo 5 I think is really well done. Now, the other project names that were in there were Project Holland, Project Typhoon, Project Woodstock, and Oxide. And Project Holland is apparently the unveiling of Fable reboot by Playground Games. Project Typhoon, we already know what that is. That is going to be the Contraband game that was announced at E3 coming from Avalanche Studios. Then we understand that Woodstock is related to a Forza game, so the Forza franchise, probably the next motorsport game, I would assume, unless there's something else out there it would be referring to. And then there is an unannounced title in there, but that's apparently attributed to the Perfect Dark reboot coming from the Initiative. And then the only one here that we haven't heard anything about yet is Project Oxide, which it says here sources indicate it is in the early stages of development, and they understand that Oxide is internally known as Project Indus, which is a strategy/simulation title drawing inspiration from the city building genre. So that's interesting. Could be like another like SimCity, Skylines, like those style of games, and going to probably be only for PC, but we'll have to wait and see if they would be able to adapt something like that for the Xbox console. But yeah, cloud gaming and NVIDIA GeForce Now is playing a big role, obviously, with these upcoming games, being able to access those games through the cloud, whether you're on GeForce Now or you're on xCloud. And this article also says that they understand that NVIDIA GeForce Now and other cloud streaming services have played a more prominent role in game development throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, providing remote access in work from home environments. So I guess because it's playing a more prominent role, these games are getting on the list, they're getting updated, and because of that vulnerability, we are now seeing this leak. Now, NVIDIA has actually responded to this, saying that they have revoked public access to the reported database, saying that NVIDIA is aware of an unauthorized published game list with both released and/or speculative titles used only for internal tracking and testing. Inclusion on the list is neither confirmation nor an announcement of any game. So, I mean, take that as you will, but they really kind of have to cover themselves. But more likely than not, a lot of these games right now on that list are probably being tested to see if they work on the service, and developers are using it as a way to let NVIDIA GeForce Now, I guess, or NVIDIA is using it as a way to keep track of all the stuff that could be potentially coming out in the future. But yeah, other than the Xbox Game Studio games, there was a bunch of other cool stuff on here. Like apparently there is a Final Fantasy IX Remake Tactics and Chrono Cross Remaster that may exist, like you don't know, obviously. And then there is the Dolphin emulator that was on there that is used to emulate, I believe, Wii games. And you continue down this list, There's also like God of War apparently is coming to PC, GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas remasters, which I think we've already heard about that. BioShock 2022. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. You can go through the entire list. It's actually available on GitHub right now, and multiple websites have shown it. So it's pretty interesting. Who knows how many of these are actually going to come true, but I mean, if a lot of them do, there's definitely a lot to be excited for in the future of gaming. Moving over here to scalping. Scalping has been the bane of the existence of these consoles. Scalpers have been able to kind of use the online retailing, especially within the pandemic, where it was the main way of being able to get pre-orders and buying up these consoles, to use bots and everything to get all of those consoles once they go live onto websites and then resell them for significantly higher prices than they are actually worth and what they are going for at MSRP. Well, it looks like the prices are sort of starting to drop, at least for the PlayStation 5, whereas with the Xbox Series X, prices are remaining the same. So there is a report put out by Forbes which claims that they have gathered data from the secondary market StockX, and it says that the PS5 via resellers, the prices of them have fallen almost 30% since their peak, but the Xbox Series X is still going strong. Now for the Xbox Series X, they were being resold for about $750 to $800, and then later dropped 25% in July down to around $600, but now they're going back up to an average price of $725, and then the PS5 right now has dropped about 30% in price, and nobody knows really why. The only thing you can think of is there's probably less Series X stock out there. The Halo Infinite Special Edition probably increased the overall price of the reselling because those are probably going for crazy amounts as well. And then the PS5 has more stock out there in general, I would say. We've heard about things about how Xbox is really ramping up the production of the Xbox Series X, but putting a lot of those units into xCloud, into the server stack, in order to upgrade the server stack. So PS5, on the other hand, is making changes to their console in order to be able to produce more consoles to get out there to consumers. So that's probably the main reason why. And it's unfortunate if you're looking for an Xbox Series X and you were planning on buying from a scalper, although I do not recommend it. I would just continue to wait and follow people on Twitter, follow people on social media who post the links of when these go live onto websites, and then just try to get in, because you will eventually get one if you aren't on top of it. It's going to be really hard to get one if you're not, whether that is through going into a store, buying it online, or anything like that for the next couple of years. If you really want an Xbox Series X, I think the best way to do it is you just got to make sure that you have your notifications on for social media, and if as soon as somebody you're following who tracks the stock, who posts links and all that kind of stuff posted, you got to get in there within like the first minute or two. I know it's difficult for a lot of people because you're at work all day, you have family stuff and all that kind of stuff, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation right now. Anyways guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. What do you think about that list of Xbox Game Studios games, or any of those games that are on the list? Which games are you excited for? And what do you think about the scalping prices for the PS5 dropping, whereas the Xbox Series X staying the same? What do you think is happening with that there? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, as I think many of you are based off my analytics, you enjoy the content, you like what you see, you found it entertaining and informative, please consider subscribing to help this channel grow and help grow this community, just so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.